The World Cup is absolutely full of stories, but some of the facts behind the world's greatest tournament are so strange, so surprising, that they are genuinely hard to believe. Today we have 10 unbelievable World Cup facts that you probably did not know, with a couple of extra bonus facts thrown in along the way. Some of these will make you laugh, some will amaze you, and the very last one might just change the way you see the whole tournament. Let us begin. Number 10. At the very first World Cup, in 1930, simply getting to the tournament was an adventure in itself. It was held in Uruguay, and several European teams refused to take part because the only way to get there was a boat journey of 2 or 3 weeks across the Atlantic Ocean. The teams that did make the trip actually trained on the deck of the ship as it sailed. Just imagine preparing for a World Cup in the middle of the sea, jogging in circles around the lifeboats. Number 9. The 1950 World Cup is the only one in all of history that did not have a single official final. Instead of a knockout final, the whole tournament was decided by a final group stage. It just so happened that the very last match, between Brazil and Uruguay, effectively acted as a final, but technically, the World Cup has been won without a real final ever being played. Number 8. In 1958, France's Just Fontaine scored 13 goals in a single tournament, a record that still stands today and may genuinely never be broken. And yet, outside of dedicated football fans, his name is barely known around the world. 13 goals in just 6 games, and most people have never even heard of him. Number 7. The 1938 Italian team, the defending champions, are surrounded by one of the darker stories in World Cup history. Playing under an authoritarian government, they reportedly faced enormous political pressure around their matches, and on one occasion took the field in an all-black kit, a color heavy with meaning at the time. They won the tournament, but always under a shadow. Number 6. Brazil hold a record that no other nation on earth can match. They have appeared at every single World Cup ever held, from 1930 all the way to the present day. Every other footballing giant, Italy, Germany, Argentina, Uruguay, has failed to qualify at least once. Brazil never have, not even one single time in almost a century of football. Number 5. The World Cup trophy itself has had an extraordinary life. In 1966, before the tournament in England, the original trophy was stolen while on public display, and the entire country was thrown into a panic. Incredibly, it was found just a week later, wrapped in newspaper under a hedge, by a small dog out for a walk with its owner. The dog's name was Pickles, and for a while he was the most famous animal in all of England. Number 4. The fastest goal in the entire history of the tournament took just 10.8 seconds. It was scored by Hakan Sukur of Turkey in 2002. The opposition had barely even touched the ball. By the time most fans had even looked up from their seats, it was already in the back of the net. Number 3. Age is truly no barrier at the World Cup. Milla of Cameroon scored a goal at the 1994 tournament at the age of 42, while some of the players marking him were barely out of their teens. His joyful, dancing celebrations by the corner flag had already made him a global icon 4 years earlier. Number 2. The highest scoring match in World Cup history saw a remarkable 12 goals. In 1954, Austria beat Switzerland 7-5 in stifling heat, in a game so chaotic and end-to-end that it remains completely unmatched to this day. Both defenses seemed to simply give up trying to stop the avalanche of goals. Now, before the final fact, here are 2 bonus stories. In 1982, West Germany and Austria played out what became known as the disgrace of Gijón. Realizing that a narrow German win would send them both through at the expense of Algeria, the two sides effectively stopped competing after an early goal, passing the ball around aimlessly. The outrage was so great that FIFA changed the rules forever, so that the final group games now kick off at the very same time. And in 1974, a player from Zaire named Mwipu Alunga stunned the world by sprinting out of his defensive wall to hammer the ball away before a free kick had even been taken, a moment of confusion that became one of the most famous clips in World Cup history. Here is one more that very few people know. The Maracana Stadium in Brazil set an attendance record in 1950 that still stands to this day, with official figures of around 173,000 fans, and unofficial estimates pushing well beyond 200,000, for that single fateful final match. No football crowd, anywhere in the world, has ever been bigger. And consider this, the very first World Cup goal in history was scored by a Frenchman named Lucien Laurent, all the way back in 1930, a name almost entirely forgotten today, despite holding a place in the story of football that can never be taken away. And number 1, perhaps the most astonishing fact of them all. In almost 100 years, across more than 20 tournaments, only 8 different nations have ever won the World Cup. Just stop and think about that for a moment. Hundreds of countries have tried, billions of people have dreamed, generation after generation after generation, and yet just 8 names appear on that famous trophy. It is the clearest possible proof of just how staggeringly hard it is to be crowned champions of the world. So, how many of those did you already know? Be honest with us in the comments, and tell us which fact surprised you the most. If you enjoyed this, there is plenty more where it came from, because we tell the stories, the stats, and the legends of the World Cup every single day. Follow Stoppage Time, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.